What's up guys, it's your boy Cool Kid Croc here, and after almost a year of not playing Kenshi, I'm finally back, and nothing much has really changed. Which in its own way is good. I mean, Kenshi is the perfect sandbox open world, which allows you to experience what it's like to be stuck in a corrupt wasteland full of slavers and monsters. I've gone ahead and set up this playthrough with a good handful of mods, some old and some new to keep it a bit interesting, so we have lots of possibilities to lose everything in a matter of seconds. To begin, I wanted to create a gang, a strong group of mofos who will go around trapping hash, slapping ass, and killing fast. I settled on a skeleton unit, which was one of my favorite characters from my previous Kenshi videos, so I named him B01, and we began our adventure. I picked a start that spawns you in the middle of a desert without an arm. Now, you would think this is a bad start, but it's actually right next to the hub when it comes to difficulty to survive. Our first goal was to travel to the nearest town in search of refuge and whores, probably. Crossing the desert can be pretty easy as long as we keep our eyes out for any enemies, but we might also get lucky on our way. With B01 slowly exploring, we could see many different groups traveling as well. My goal was to lure one group into another and then let them fight it out, that way we can take their loot back to the town with us to sell. We found a group of rebel farmers relatively fast, so the game began. B01 would have to run from the farmers and lure them into a group of menders. Even though B01 was much slower than the farmers, I was able to use my gamer skills I developed over 500 hours in this hellhole. By watching and waiting until the farmer stops running and prepares to swing, this gives me an opportunity to run in a different direction so the swing doesn't connect or hit my hitbox. We still got bonked a few times, but B01 was able to make it to the menders who immediately jumped in to fight the rebel farmers. It didn't take long for the menders to take them out since they're way higher leveled, so B01 had only sustained some minor injuries, nothing life threatening. So I grabbed as much loot as we could carry. I would have carried one of the dead farmers to the town so I could sell his inventory as well, but since we only had one arm, B01 couldn't do any lifting. Luckily for us, one of the menders was actually a trader, so I'd be able to fill up our inventory, sell the loot, and then re-loot the rest of the bodies to get as much money as possible. Once we had a bit of cats, I bought an authentic skeleton repair kit so we could repair what damage had been done so far. And just that minor injury basically used almost the whole kit. It cost us 2k cats, and just that little minor injury basically used that whole kit. After we finished healing, we could see a settlement close by called Heft, so I made it our mission to make it there. Heft is controlled by the United Cities, which is one of our best case scenarios. Most of the groups and factions that there are in the game are pretty much all assholes, but the United Cities is kind of a most humane out of them, other than all the human slavery and trafficking they're a part of. You know, besides that, they're not too bad. There's also a diverse amount of races of the United Cities, making it a great spot to start a new playthrough for us to develop our party. After being stopped and checked at the guard gate, B01 would make his way over to one of the town's bars in search of other adventurers. A skeleton wearing what appeared to be a hazmat suit walked into the bar and caught my eye. A familiar look, he states, implying him and B01 are skeletons, and there aren't many like them left in the world. B01 offered the hazmat skeleton to join his group and team up with him. The hazmat skeleton had no problem joining for free, so we now have B01 and Human. That's still only 2 gangsters for the entire operation, which isn't a lot, so we need to keep on looking. Since we already have 2 skeletons, and I don't want everyone in the comments calling me a racist, I knew we had to search for a different race to join us, which is when a perfect bugman hiver walked into the bar. His name was Ank, and he asked us if we'd like a new friend. Apparently, Ank had ran into some trouble and was on the brink of death when a processor unit named Chompy came in and saved his life. Ank feels bad because he can't afford for the repairs, so he's wondering if we'd like to take him in. Since we still had half of that repair kit from earlier, B01 offered to repair Chompy for Ank, to which Ank was really happy and grateful. But still, he knew he couldn't keep Chompy if he needs to rely on handouts from strangers. So B01 offered Ank to join him and Human on their quest to make the world's strongest gang, and they'd all work together and drink blood rum and shit. Ank was pumped. Oh, fuck yeah, he basically said, and joined our group. Now we just have to find Chompy. You would think Chompy would be somewhere near Ank or following him, but no. Since this isn't a normal game with a normal series of inputs, this is Kenshi. So I began searching all around Heft for a random processor unit named Chompy. And even if I didn't want to take him in, he'd be very valuable, as we wouldn't need to feed him since he's a skeleton dog. So it took me nearly 5 in real life minutes of looking around for this dude, but we finally found Chompy wandering around the town. With us now having 3 men and an animal, or well, 2 skeletons, 1 bug man, and a robot dog, our gang was at least big enough to fight starving bandits, but we're still pretty much at the bottom of a Kenshi food chain. In order to become stronger than the famous triage bandits, we'll need to increase some basic skills like dexterity, melee combat, and defense. These can really only be obtained by either training or fighting, and this isn't my first rodeo. I know damn well if we leave Heft with our current skill set, we're destined to become either skimmer food or slaver's bitch. So we're going to need to train without going too far from the settlement. If things get too rough, we can always retreat back to the guards and get assistance and not losing our arms or legs. So the first group we would encounter would be none other than the United Heroes, a group that wanders the United City's territories and attacks weaker groups to make themselves feel better about life. First, they chased down our group and started to call us names like shitbag, and then they proceeded to begin combat. This is when I discovered that Chompy is no normal robot dog. Even though Chompy's health is really low in his forearms, he makes up for it by hitting unarmored characters for up to 180 damage. This is a great asset to us as it levels the playing field between where our group currently is and brings us closer to maybe fighting a few mid-game units. With the 3 gangsters and Chompy fighting, it wouldn't take long until the United Heroes were mostly all defeated, landing us our first battle won as a group. There was this one guy who was like trying to crawl away, to which Ank and Human ran after him. They began beating on him for like an hour in game, managing to punch his fucking leg off of his body until he was finally unconscious again. Now with the battle over, we could loot the enemies we defeated, but unfortunately none of them really had equipment that was worth a whole lot. I mean, after selling everything, we still didn't even have enough money to buy a normal skeleton repair kit. A reason why this sucks is because the authentic kit has a durability of 100 and costs about 2k cats, while the real kit has a durability of 500 and costs 4k cats. So it's a no-brain move to pick the normal one, but sometimes in game, when you only have a few thousand cats to spare, you're gonna have to go with a crappy kit and live with it. I decided to give the kit to Human as he has an XP bonus of 1.2 in robotics. Meanwhile, B01 has a negative XP bonus in robotics at 0.8, which is actually fucking pathetic. On a bright side, we now had our gang healed back up and ready to explore. So I brought them back outside the Heft to look for any bandit groups. Now I want you guys to tell me what you think about this. There's a samurai sergeant that approached my group and told us that we seem short on bodyguards and that there's a lot of bandits around. We had dialogue chances to either hire the bodyguards or tell them we could handle ourselves. So we told them that we're fine, and once they left, it took no longer than 30 seconds later for a group of slave hunters to approach our group. They attempted to fight us to knock us out so they could enslave us, and there is no way that those samurais who approached us before aren't working with these slavers. There's no way they didn't just attempt to scam us for protection, as that was way too convenient. On the bright side, the slavers weren't very strong, so we were able to take them down along with the loose slaves that they had with them. On the other side though, once we were done fighting and began to heal, a wild skimmer snuck up on us and began fighting. Skimmers are often super dangerous early game as they do a lot of damage against flesh. They hit really fast and they can eat some characters once you get knocked out. But with Chompy on our side, we'd be able to adore the attacks of a skimmer and be able to take him down as well. Before we headed back to town, everybody filled up their inventories with loot. And then Ank and Human picked up a couple dead guys, that way we could walk and get some strength experience. Once we got back to Heft, our strength did go up by a few levels each, and we had plenty of gear to sell, which allowed us to finally buy a good repair kit. This is sweet as it will last us much longer than the authentic ones, and save us money in the long run. At the same time, this brought us back to being nearly broke, so we need to explore again and try to find some battles. I checked out a couple of the local camps nearby, but they were both friendly, so I decided to do some running back and forth in Heft to train up strength and wait for a battle to break out. And it wouldn't be all that long until a group of rebel farmers attempted to breach the gates of Heft only to be massacred within minutes by the guards. This gives us a great opportunity to grab some loot, that way we could sell it all as well as get some upgrades for our own equipment. After selling a bunch of stuff, we also had enough money to purchase a cheap left arm for B01. It wouldn't be a permanent solution, but it was better than nothing, and we could now strength train with all 3 gang members now. We went to loot more of the corpses at the gate when all of a sudden a group of manhunters attacked us, attempting to take us and the rebel farmers back to their slave camp. Luckily, even just Chopper could have taken them out as he's a beast, but the guards also helped us in the battle, taking down the manhunters, which left even more loot for us to take and sell. Along with a couple skimmers that got caught in the crossfire, I was able to load up everybody's inventory again and have them pick up a dead body, so now we could efficiently strength train. I made the gang run back and forth in Heft for close to a day, which got all 3 of their strength levels up to above 20. They are now close to being able to leave Heft and go to other settlements. Let me know in the comments where I should develop our gangsters. I also want to know some ideas for maybe a gang name, as well as some more gangsters names. I'll probably pick the coolest ones from the comments. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel. I know it's been a long time since I've been uploading, so I'm trying to come back strong. I'm pretty busy, so I figure if I make the videos around this length, I should be able to get out at least a few a week in between working and living a life of a cool kid. Anyways though, I hope you guys all enjoyed this Kenshi video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.